grade, let's do our summary for chapter 37 and 38 together. Okay, so find your page that is next in your book. And then also get your book because you need to refer back to it when you're writing your summary so you remember the names and the places. And of course the story in the order that it happens in. All right, so on the top here, let's write our summary for chapters 37 and 38. Okay, and who is in this story? Is this part of the chapter? Of course, we have, little Christian. I'll put him as Elsie again. And then Hopeful. The shepherds are in there. And instead of naming them all, because you probably named them yesterday, let's just call them the shepherds today. And then in 38, we come across ignorance. Okay. All right. So now what are the key events that happen? Now I feel like there's a lot of information in here. So we might jump around back and forth a little bit between these questions, and they're going to use them as notes. And we might draw and write outside the margin and extra things. And it doesn't have to be complete sentences, but we're going to give ourselves notes to be able to give ourselves a really good summary at the bottom here. Okay. So some key events that happened. Can you think of some? Can you say something that happened? Okay, they do. Let's say they walk up the mountains. And there's 3 different hills they go to. Let's name them. So down here at where? Rock of Error. And what else? Let's see here. You can look back if you want to. It's a great tool to do if you can't remember them. Go back to 37. What is some other places they went? Here they went to Mount Caution. So let's write that one down under where? Mount Caution. All right. They also went to the 3rd place. The other mountain they took them to was, let's see, I think it's on this next page. Nope. So they went to Mount Clear. Oh, maybe they haven't been there yet. Oh, that's on this page. So ignorance, when they meet ignorance, before that, shepherds take them to Mount Clear. Okay, so let's put Mount Clear. Okay. All right, so now let's talk about things that happen in each of these places. The Rock of Error, pilgrims fell to their death, right? Let's say they died. And this is Mount Caution is pilgrims blinded. Then die. And then Mount Clear, I guess I can skip that part. Mount Clear, the pilgrims try to see celestial city. Okay. And at the end also, let's see here, what else happens? They're given a map. They meet ignorance. We have him up here. And ignorance, the big thing about ignorance when they're having this conversation, what do you think is the most important thing that ignorance talks about that we can take away from this chapter? You say it out loud? What do you think? Okay, whatever you think, why don't you write it down? I'm going to say it's not important for ignorance. Ignorance doesn't think it's important to go through the wicket gate. Okay, so they kind of have a disagreement a little bit. So I'm going to call him ignorance. Does not think wicket gate is important. All right. Kind of went off the page a little bit. That's all right. Okay. Now, let's go on here to our summary. So the first thing that happens, and we kind of want to give it a good detailed sentence, is that the shepherds take little Christian and Hopeful up the mountains, right? And they take them to the two first ones that are really bad, where people die, are the Rock of Error and Mount Caution. So let's say the shepherds show the pilgrims the Rock of Error and Mount Caution, where pilgrims die, okay? Where pilgrims have lost their way and die, something like that. So remember, we went cursive. I did not do that cursive, did I? Oh dear, let me erase that. The shepherds show, and if anytime I'm too fast, just go ahead and hit pause or K, and that will pause it, and you can catch up, okay? Pilgrims, okay, so we're going to call it capital Rock because that's capitalized. The Rock of, it's a place, they name it, Caution, and, oh my goodness, I hope you guys caught that. It should be the Rock of Error, right? Rock of Error, and this is and Mount Caution. I should have looked up here, right? And Mount that looks like T. My goodness. I'm using pen so you guys can see it better, but I'm making some mistakes, aren't I? Okay, Mount Caution, where other pilgrims died. Okay. Okay, so then after that, they take them to the other Mount Clear, right? Where they try to see the celestial city. Do you remember that? Okay, and so they're trying to look through a glass called, go ahead and say it out loud. Did you say faith? Okay, so let's say they go, let's just go, they try to see the celestial city from Mount Clear through a glass called faith. Okay, so I'm running out of room, but I already have two really good sentences, two deep sentences that kind of tell a big chunk of what happened in those chapters, all right? And we're already on chapter 38. So let's move on to moving on. They move on then. They start their journey again. They meet up with Ignorance, and Ignorance does not feel like it's important to go through the wicket gate. So, oh, you know what we also wrote up here? We wrote a map. So we can say that. The shepherds, because that's going to become important later. Give the pilgrims a map. If you write big, you need to write really, hopefully you probably still realize you need to write small for this part, right? Okay. And If you need to write your summaries on a regular piece of school paper with lines on it, you may do that, because clearly you might run out of room, especially if you write large. Okay, the shepherds give the pilgrims a map. And they meet a boy named Ignorance. Let's see, we want to say something about he doesn't think it's important to go to the celestial, through the wicket gate. So, named Ignorance, who does not think he needs to go through the wicket. Oops. Period at the end there. Okay, so I just want to stop a minute and think about this. What does that wicket gate represent? Since it's so important that they do go to the celestial city through the wicket gate, why is that important? Why can you not skip that? What is it that you cannot skip? Okay, I want you to think about that, because I haven't really answered this for you, but I want you to be thinking about that. What is so important? What do you think that wicket gate could represent that you have to have in order to make it to the celestial city? And to skip it is to not be a pilgrim, is to not make it to the celestial city in the end. All right, that's all for today.